Chris Chan is the most documented person in human history. There have been a plethora of online figures over the years recording their every move, all while the surrounding audience has grown ever more interested. It's only natural that when the demand is there, many will step up to fill the void with content. And in the last few years, there's been an exponential increase in videos discussing Chris for those new to the subject. A lot of it, however, remains very surface level. In the years prior, the most well-known thorough pieces on Chris were the Satchmo and Down the Rabbit Hole documentaries, which both gave overviews of Chris's entire life. But in 2018, one person would attempt what many would view as an all but impossible task: to compile everything together and make the most thorough documentary on the most documented person on Earth. And the one behind it all is known as Geno Samuel.
What made him this way? What is the attraction? What keeps us fascinated? This is the story of Geno Samuel.
The intro I just played was made in June of 2018 after I discovered Geno's channel 3 parts into his Chris Chan Comprehensive History series, each with a runtime of around 40 minutes. Even at that point, he'd already surpassed the length of the previous most thorough video ever created on Chris. But in 2022, Geno has created roughly 60 episodes of a similar size, adding up to over 40 hours of content, making it one of the longest documentaries ever created on any subject. But on top of being the most thorough content on Chris in video form, the series has been quite successful over the years following its creation. But when discussing Chris, it's easy to lose track of Geno himself, who has his own story. Many forget that the Chris Chan Comprehensive History series was nearly extinguished just after its inception. In 2018, the stage was set for Geno's series to enter the public eye. Discussion of Chris was only continuing to grow, with creators such as PewDiePie having recently talked about them, and the 2014 Satchmo documentary becoming increasingly outdated. But on top of it all, YouTube had switched its algorithm 2 years prior to favor watch time as opposed to clicks. And combined with demonetization forcing users to switch to making unbiased content, documentaries were on the precipice of becoming a new hit trend. Geno was already established as a musician with his Geno Samuel channel created as far back as 2011, but in February of 2018 he began posting the first episodes of the Chris Chan Comprehensive History series on a new account known as Geno Samuel 2. Upon release, it was a breakout success. Within that month, the Geno Samuel channel grew to over 8,000 subscribers, and reached 22,000 by the end of March. And before he'd released part 10 on May 12th, his channel reached over 30,000 subscribers. It was around this point that things really started to look promising. This installment of the series went on to reach number 3 on the UK YouTube trending tab within a day of release. While the total views accumulated throughout this time weren't the highest, it was far better than most channels ever experienced so early on. However, the following month, things would take a drastic turn. By June 12th, Geno had posted 13 installments of the Chris Chan series, but without warning was hit with a strike on episode 10 for violating YouTube's guidelines on bullying and harassment. Given the fact that this episode contained the infamous Blue Spike events that puts a video at risk even describing, many were not surprised. Although due to being a documentary that was simply describing a situation that had happened, very few considered the video to be a genuine violation of bullying and harassment. But this would only prove to be the beginning of Geno's troubles. Within an hour, episode 6 was deleted for the same reasons, and as of the next day, the channel was issued a third strike and suspended. Very odd timing. The episodes were promptly mirrored to BitChute, and Geno addressed the situation in a now deleted video on his main account. In it, he speculates as to why this all could have occurred.
Some people have drawn comparisons with what happened with Logan Paul, and saying that if that's allowed, then why is this not allowed? But considering that the Logan Paul incident happened first, I'm kind of thinking that maybe the Chris Chan series would still be up if it wasn't for Logan Paul. And now the deal with YouTube these days, it seems like they have this sort of out of sight, out of mind policy when it comes to their content. So even if I just simply address the bullying and harassment that was taking place, that was deemed inappropriate.
While not easily confirmable, this theory could hold some weight. Following December 31st, 2017, when Logan Paul posted his infamous Suicide Forest vlog that reached the trending tab, YouTube would institute many changes that are still in place today, such as the new requirements of a channel needing to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours before being allowed to enable ads. This was to hypothetically lower the risk of controversial content being monetized by creators who didn't have a big enough following to be incentivized to follow the rules, and risk an offensive video being monetized and spotlighted by the algorithm. Geno's deletion seems especially fitting when you take into account that he too reached the trending tab just 1 month prior with the very same video that would receive the first strike. Plus, all 3 strikes occurred within 48 hours of one another, like many other figures whose terminations were openly deliberate. The idea that his channel was actually deleted for bullying and harassment violations doesn't hold up when you consider the fact that not only did all the controversial footage exist on YouTube long prior, but also that the website's bullying and harassment guidelines have a specific clause that gives documentaries an exemption.
And I guess yesterday, someone from YouTube actually looked at it and didn't like what they saw. And they didn't like that kind of content being pushed to other people, and this is not the kind of YouTube that YouTube wants to be.
Were his deletion a result of user flaggings or a mistake by YouTube's bots, the manual review process would have restored his channel. But unfortunately, this didn't happen. Even 3 years later, the account remains suspended. The true nature as to why is difficult to say, but most agree it was due to YouTube itself, since most other alternatives seem less likely. Even Chris Chan himself came out of the woodwork to deny taking down the channel. As for Gino, he stated he wouldn't post any Chris Chan content to his main account and risk its well-being. Instead, he went on to create a website that would host the videos in addition to their mirrors on BitChute and DTube. He expressed doubt that the series would ever return to YouTube, although he did create a new channel called Gino Samuel 2.1 on the 14th of that month for documentaries on other topics. For the next 7 months, Gino remained somewhat active on both other channels with very little word on whether there was a future for more Chris Chan related content. However, all that changed when on February 18, 2019, he announced a return and later posted an altered version of the first Comprehensive History series episode to the Gino Samuel 2.1 account. After slowly mirroring the following 12 episodes, he released an update video discussing his future plans for all of his channels.
So first off, thanks for coming around to Gino Samuel 2.1. We're all caught up with where we left off before the dark times, and now we will continue onward and upward with part 14 of Chris Chan, A Comprehensive History, coming out on June 1st, and new episodes will be uploaded every 2 weeks now because it takes a lot longer to make the original videos from scratch. Hopefully they will stay up for a while.
In this video, he states that future documentaries on other topics will instead be posted to a new account known as Gino Samuel 3, which he will continue posting to in tandem with Chris Chan episodes and main channel content. Today, Gino's series has once again exploded in popularity, and he sits with nearly 200,000 subscribers on his 2.1 account. Following Chris's arrest in August, Gino put the series on a hiatus that's set to end in February of 2022. In that time, he continued pursuing music, and has found a lot of success. Every now and then, episodes of the Chris Chan series will get taken down, but he remains diligent and continues to repost them. No one can know if YouTube will ever ban him again, but at the very least, his situation proves that it is possible to return even stronger. Gino's deletion may have been a tragedy, but unlike Chris, it seems that this tragedy can still have a happy ending.
It's